my beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of December 28th, which is our last weekly horoscope for 2020. Can you even believe that? And incidentally, it is also the horoscope that's going to walk us across the bridge into 2021. So what a week. We're going to dance between these worlds this week. But I actually am so excited about 2021 coming. I'm so excited. I have butterflies in my stomach to tell you about a new project that I'm going to be launching, and I definitely will need your help. So look for all of the details about the Kickstarter coming, because I want to turn this YouTube channel this year for 1 year into an absolute university. I want to teach you live all year long. So all of the details of that will be coming up. But first, we've got to talk about the full moon that's happening this week. So at the end of this video, stay tuned, because I'm going to actually do the full moon in Cancer breakdown with the chart and give you a little forecast on that particular moon event. So you can also look in the timestamp section down below so you can get right to the full moon forecast if that's all you're here to hear, okay? Now this week we're also going to be talking about solar return charts in the Eat and Greets. The beautiful Tracy Rogers will be coming over with some of her astro medicine to teach us about solar return charts. So if you've never seen one, you have seen one, you want some more in-depth information, I've got you this week, okay? Make sure you check out the calendar right there on the homepage at stormiegrace.com to see when all of the Eat and Greet friends are coming, what we're going to talk about, their bios, and all of that good stuff, okay? All right, you guys, let's get in here and talk about what's happening this week. But before I give you the tea, please make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, okay? All right, as we're coming into this week, I actually want to back up just for a second to Sunday the 22nd, the 27th, because we had the sun in a beautiful trine to Uranus, who is retrograde. Now we have the sun over here in the energy of Capricorn, we've got Uranus here in the energy of Taurus, and they met up at 7 degrees. And why I want to start there is because I feel like it is our push into 2021, okay? So as these two come together in their trine, it's exciting. It's an energy where the sun is bringing light, heat, life, and vitality to the table, and it's saying, yes, Uranus, I am ready. Let's bring that project from the past, Uranus is retrograde, into a motivated reality. Earth signs, material plane, let's take this thing forward. So it was unexpected. It was like the possibilities were endless with this beautiful Uranian energy that got in the mix, and the trine provided the opportunity to begin something new. So I ask you, what came to the surface for you during this last week? What's come to the surface for you that you've been working on this year? Maybe a project from the past that would have allowed you some kind of freedom, and now that sun is giving you the motivation to try and take it forward. I certainly know the project came fully to light for me, and I'm going to present it to you guys. So what was happening for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. But this energy is our kick forward into this week and into 2021, because we will move with a sense of newness, I think, as we cross this threshold. Now, when we get to the 29th, we're going to have this full moon in the energy of Cancer at 9 degrees. So make sure you locate 9 degrees of Cancer on your chart, whether that be your natal chart, your progress chart, your solar return chart, whatever you're looking at. Locate 9 degrees of Cancer so you can see what this is lighting up for you. Now, this particular moon, being a full moon, says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. So we need to make some adjustments. We need to make some shifts here, bring some things to a close, but also make space for something new to take off. The other thing I want to keep in mind here when we're talking about a full moon is that as we come to the full moon phase, what you've been working on since this last new moon has been, it's time for it to be recognized for what it is. What's its purpose? What does it do? What do you do with it? Where is all of this light that comes from the full moon showing you where this area needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted? It's not like you're doing it in a blind fashion. You've seen it. You've had some eyes, or at least a sense on this just a little bit. Now, the full moon being in Cancer does tell us things about the home, family, real estate, property, women in our lives, mothers, our own sense of feminine energy will need to take an adjustment. Not to mention that we've got Uranus, who's over here in Taurus, still retrograde. He hasn't run out of retrograde since Sunday. Beautifully aspected and in beautiful orientation to the sun. So we know that this has also got, again, this Uranian vibe that is on the table. So between the sun and the moon, where he's making these positive aspects, this is again kind of pulling in this energy of change, of something different. So maybe something really unexpected is coming up for you regarding your home or regarding your family or something about your housing. I also deeply believe that this moon is tapping into what makes us feel home here in your own personhood. What is making you feel like home? What needs to be adjusted? Because let's not forget that Uranus is a planet of individuality, right? Of the rebellion, of breaking free so that you can be your own best self. And so this moon will put a sense of independence on each of us, and the responsibility that that Saturn and Jupiter conjunction having just happened, and they're still pretty tight here at this moon. I think we come to this moon, to the table of this moon, with a sense of responsibility for our own freedom, our own happiness, and our own individuality. And maybe that means some things really have to change moving forward. So there's definitely this sense of completion or adjustment that I think this moon is bringing to the table, okay? Now, when we get to the 30th, we see Venus over here in the energy of Sagittarius at this point in a square to Neptune, who's over still in the energy of Pisces. Now, they're going to meet their square at 18 degrees. So again, please locate that on your personal chart, okay? As Venus and Neptune, and I love these two together. They're the Bopsy twins, and sometimes people will say that Neptune is just the higher octave of Venus, and you can consider that however you'd like. What I do want to share with you, though, is that Venus being over diplomacy, love, our affection, our relationships, our money, it's governing these areas, beauty, right? And Neptune being over our ideals, right? And walking in between the worlds. As these two square off with one another, one of the things that we can do is actually have a little self-esteem crisis where we're like, oh my gosh, who am I to do this? What do I really believe in myself? How does this align with my ideals? And I love that on the heels of that Sunday energy I was telling you about, as we're pulling something new that you're motivated to bring forward, you may be running up against this energy that says, if I do this or I don't do this, how does this challenge or fit my ideals? This could also be an energy this day which feels a little bit confusing in your relationships, or in what should I actually invest my money in this particular energy. So what I'm going to tell you is it doesn't last forever. Venus is in forward motion, Neptune's in forward motion, although it's super slow moving. So Venus is going to get away from Neptune, but consider it this day. If you feel a little bit puzzled, that's okay. This is a great day as these two get involved with one another, especially in a square, because a square demands action. It says take an action, make a move, do a little something here. This square is great to say, put your creativity forward. Take that time to be by yourself to create what you need to. Give that forgiveness. Take a minute to pause and listen. What is that message that's coming through from your dreams? What is that vision that you have of yourself as you travel forward to 2021 and beyond? And then let's take some positive actions to get ourselves in position to move that forward, to get into alignment. So it's really an interesting day, and I look forward to seeing how it manifests for you, especially if you're very sensitive to Neptunian energy. Let me know how this plays out for you as we get to being around the 30th, okay? Now, on the 31st, New Year's Eve, last day of 2020, we're going to get ready to flip the page, but not quite yet. What we've got going on here is that we've got that energy of Saturn and Jupiter who came together in the great conjunction, this great mutation that we had just about a week ago. Now, these two are still not distanced enough from each other. They're still pretty tight here, but they are going to be opposing the moon that has now moved out of that Cancerian energy and moved into the energy of Leo. Now that is squaring Uranus at this point, okay? So we've got a little bit of a dance happening up there in the sky. But what I think that this speaks to for all of us is the energy that points to an immense, critical transition for all of us. That Saturn Jupiter coming together was fortune and passion and power and wisdom and something solid underneath our feet coming together to say that you can realign, reimagine, and recreate the heights, the depth of your horizon for your own new future. What are you reimagining in this energy of Aquarius? Where is your you? Where is your roar, right? Where is your heart, that great love for what you have that you want to give moving forward? I also think that this is an energy, it like sets a stamp for us at the end of the year that says you can do hard things, you can meet challenges, you can be very Aquarian, you can be that skyscraper kind of energy. You know, you've built something solid, now you're standing on the rooftop of it. What else can you see that's giving you different ideas of where you can take your future next? I feel like this is a lovely energy here on the 31st to leave us with. And the moon squaring Uranus, whenever this happens, it really does give us this sense where it can be a lot of high emotion and you feel like you need to take action on all of them right at that time. It can feel a little bit erratic depending on how sensitive you are to that particular mooning energy. But one of the things that I do love is that that moon being in the energy of Leo is fixed. Okay, that Uranian energy over in Taurus is fixed. These are fixed energies working together. So it's really about this energy of giving you something that is a lot more grounded, and then not to mention that Saturn and Jupiter are also in Aquarius. So it's a very Aquarius Leo fixed kind of energy dance for us to have something solid, sturdy, and to ground down into as we cross this threshold into 2021. Now, when we do get to the first, happy new calendar year. Now, remember in astrology, it's so great because we get 2 new years. We get the calendar new year and then we'll get the astrological new year. So happy calendar new year. Welcome to 2021. And as we're coming in with Mercury in a sextile to Neptune. Oh man, Mercury's over here in the energy of Capricorn. We've got Neptune here in the energy of Pisces. They're meeting up and doing this sextile at 18 degrees. And remember, when the planets have sex, that's good for us. It's an energy that not only provides that opportunity, but it's an opportunity that we intelligently take action on. We move towards this thing and we embrace it. So here, reimagining, rethinking, recreating, respeaking into your life, your thoughts becoming things, your words becoming manifestations of your new reality. Spend the first wrapping 2021 in the vision of what you want, the courage to take the actions to have that vision, a great, big, old faith that aligns you with the ideals that you have for 2021, and a space and a willingness and an openness and an open-mindedness to let go of the life and the experiences that you've had that maybe were holding you down, for the life and the experiences that you actually deserve and are waiting for you as we come across this threshold into 2021. Look for bright ideas, look for inspired ideas, watch your dreams this first week of 2021. What is speaking to you? Where are you inspired from things that you see online, people around you, projects from the past? What is coming up for you that allows you to reimagine and redesign and reshape 2021 for yourself, for your family, and for your community? I absolutely cannot wait to trek through 2021 with you. It has been a real pleasure to be here with you through 2020, and I can't wait to share this kickstart idea that I've got that I feel like is going to ground down and build our community from the ground up, and I cannot wait. So thank you so much for being with me for 51 weeks, because I did miss a week in here. Thank you so much for being here every week, every month, with every event we've been going to, and I look forward to walking with you through 2021 as well. Now, like this video, comment, share, subscribe if you are done watching right here, and if you are in the old emotional seat, you've got your emotional seatbelt strapped, let's talk about this beautiful Cancerian emotional moon that's going to be coming up December 29th. I'll be breaking that down just after this. Hello, my beautiful astrology friends, and welcome back to taking a look at this final moon that we're going to be having for the 2020 year. The moon is going to be in the energy of Cancer. How absolutely beautiful is that? Especially when we take a moment to consider that as we started 2020, we started with a full moon and it happened to be a lunar eclipse. And that was also in the energy of Cancer. I mean, I think that's incredible when we think about the fact that we're going to start the year and end the year in this very nurturing Cancerian, but very cardinal energy as well. Now, when we started the year, the lunar eclipse was at 20 degrees of Cancer, and that was on January 10th. So take yourself back for a minute. What happened for you as that eclipse panned out for you? You know, what happened right around that time, as well as in the preceding 6 months? What did you find out? What did you learn? Where did you maybe even feel like your voice was a little small as we started the beginning of the year? And now, as we're towards the end of the year, you're finding a bigger voice. You're more rooted in what you call home, whether that be your self-esteem, your physical body, your actual living space, the things that make you feel secure. Where have you seen such a full year transition and difference? Now, it's also interesting too, because at that moon that happened in January, we also had the sun conjunct Mercury. And we see, as we look at this chart down here, we've got the sun conjunct Mercury. Again, it's a little bit looser than I would like, but still it's interesting. It's almost as if from the beginning of this year that turned out to be something really big and really changing globally for all of us, certainly personally for each of us, we've been handed the energies back again to say, okay, now what are you going to do? Where are you rerouted, and where are you ready for the fresh start that's available to you? And I keep thinking about this. And as I was going through the astrology of this year, having these two moons, one at the beginning and one at the end, I kept feeling the sense of the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I feel like at this point, as we're closing out 2020, heading into 2021, we're really living that particular prayer or mantra, or however you'd like to put it. So I look forward to walking through this beautiful moon and seeing what we've got set up that will coast us definitely for the next 4 weeks, tells us the story of 2020's movement, I think, and get us ready for 2021 as we prepare to move into it. So let's break this thing down. There's a lot to look at and to talk about here, okay? Now, as we're going to take this moon apart and look at these different aspects and the story that it has to tell us for this year, I want to take just a minute to truly invite you to do what I think this moon is asking us to do in the energy of Cancer, and that is to come home, to take a minute, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath and envision home for you. What makes you feel secure right now? Where do you feel like you are coming back to this year and it's home for you? What does the word home mean for you at this point in the year? Now, this moon, as we're going to see, is also in beautiful connection with Uranian energy. So Uranus being a planet and the only planet that we've got at the time of this moon that is in retrograde, it's really it's a sense to me of this calling of not only seeing what home is, but going back over these very fruitful ideas, movements, actions, beliefs, self-esteem, resources that you have, and you're like calling them back, right? From a different position of trust and grounding, and whatever you call home, you're calling them back from the past, and you're ready to have a freedom with them. You're ready to have a flow of change. I mean, it's interesting. All of the rest of the planets besides Uranus are in forward motion at this time. So even though it's calling back to this little pebble back there that was unrooting you and ungrounding you in the energy of Taurus and saying, hey, we have to change the way that we have our resources. We have to change the way that we eat and we feed ourselves, whether that be mentally, emotionally, physically. We have to change the way that we do this. We have to change the level of self-esteem we're bringing to the table. The rest of the planets are ready to support that movement forward. So I just want to offer you a second to just ground down with yourself and look at, where are you ready for this fearless change? We're in the energy of Aquarius with Saturn and Jupiter having recently moved in there and conjoined. They are ready to accomplish and achieve a goal with you. They're ready to set that bar a little bit higher and go get it. So for you, where are you prepared to step up and lead in your life, to lead in your community? And you do it from that mustard seed grounding in basis of home. So what do you call home? Please let me know that in the comment section down below. What is home for you right now, whether that be your physical space, your insides, whatever you call home. All right, now this moon is going to be happening Tuesday, December 29th of 2020, and it's going to be happening at 8 degrees of Cancer, which what a beautiful, when I say home, I just think about the energy of Cancer being the family, the home, the early life, all of those grounding energies. But this moon is also to create the aspect of a full moon. We've got the moon in opposition to the sun. That's the actual aspect that happens to create our full moon in the sky. Now, the full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. We're going to make a big movement, a flow of direction shift at this particular energy. And not only do we sometimes see these things manifest in a very outward material kind of way, this is a shift to the insides, because there's a whole bunch of light that is shown at this time. Under the full moon, it's the most illumination that we have in the sky. So you're able to see the whole purpose of something. What was it built for? What did you develop it for? What is it turned into now? And what can you do with it? Because just after this full moon happens, what we're going to do is we're going to move into a disseminating time where it is time to give your harvest away. Share what you learned, share how you've changed, share the awakenings and the revelations that you've had. So under this particular full moon, one of the things that I think about are family, intimate relationships, your emotional life, your emotional structure, and they've got a whole beam of light just shone down on them, so we can see them pretty crystal clear, right? You can see what needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. And you've got really 2 strong weeks of this energy pointing out, showing you the adjustments that need to be made here, but really a full 4 to bring it to culmination. Now, in the opposition, and opposition in general tends to be a more internal feeling kind of energy, okay? It's like my insides, my needs versus my wants, my work versus my home, my me versus my relationships, that me-we axis that dances. So it can create, in an opposition, a pull in 2 different directions. So it's this internal tension that is essentially available, or it feels like pressure. And oppositions in and of themselves are not like squares. In a square, you feel that tension, you're under pressure, you need to make a decision right now and take some action, right? But in an opposition, this can take some time to work out. You have to feel the pull and dance in both directions, because what that opposition is asking you to do is to take those 2 extreme pulls and bring them into some kind of compromise. Find that juicy spot in the middle that both perspectives work, and they can meet and they can work together. Now, this is a lunar opposition. So from the inside out, from your emotional life, this can feel like it drops your energy down a little bit. It can also feel like your emotions are running a little bit higher. I mean, these are our luminaries in the sky going in 2 different directions, you know, and the sun is beaming big and bright and beautiful down here in the energy of Capricorn, who is steady and solid and earthy and wants that structure. And he's here, as we can see, in this conjunction, although loose for my taste, with Mercury. So this is even your thinking. You could feel like your thinking and your intuition around your emotions is just so high. You know, you're driven with the sun over here, because the sun brings light, heat, life, and vitality. You are motivated under this energy, and you maybe are motivated to make some long range decisions, or you're questioning your legacy. You're questioning the solid structure of where you want to go next, but you're motivated to build that thing. And then you've got the moon over here at home, comfortable, living his best life, in the energy of Cancer that is saying subconsciously, I've got this awareness of these things over here. I've got this awareness of myself, of my relationships, of my strengths, of my weaknesses, my negative feelings, maybe even that have been in the background for a while and they're rising to the surface. My lack of confidence, maybe even, right? These are both energies that want something good, but they want them in different ways. They are pulling in two different directions. So we need to get that beautiful, heated, motivated sun who's ready to build something gorgeous, to come and meet that moon who is ready from an intuitive sense and an intuitive awareness to give and to begin something from the rooting of home. So we're going to ask under this opposition to see where that compromise is. Now, the other thing that I tend to find with opposition aspects is they tend to be relational, right? There could very specifically be another entity, another energy, another piece of a relationship that is challenged under a full moon because it's being shown to us that we need to look at that. So one of the ideas that continues to come to me under that serenity prayer kind of energy is this idea that with that Capricorn sun down here, like how long has something bigger than you, a relationship that's bigger than you, an idea that even maybe one you gave to yourself, has it dominated you? Has it been that authority? It's had and been in the position to make decisions for you about your structures, your foundations, your reputation, what you call yourself, what you do and create and give to the world, right? Like how long has that energy been over here dominating that? And now this moon over here in Cancer is like, well, I have my own thing. I have my own beliefs. I have my own movement and my own place that my soul and my spirit and my life feel called towards. And I don't want to be dominated anymore. So you could definitely be looking at some imbalances in your relationships physically with other people, or your relations to things in our world at this time, because you're trying to find that compromise of dancing within the society, within the structure, but also coming from the place of your own rooted soul calling. So under this opposition, I just want you to understand that the actual astrology of a full moon, first of all, is the sun opposing the moon. But what are these two doing in conversation with one another at this particular time? Now, the other piece that I want to consider at just an experience level, bringing it from that January moon until now, is that under this Cancer moon, we're going to see this interaction with Chiron over here as well. So we're going to see that the sun and the moon here form this loose, to me, T-square with Chiron, who's over here in Aries. So one of the things that I think of under that Chiron energy is Chiron is not in retrograde and he's in the energy of Aries here. So the wound, right? Chiron is our greatest wound, the wounded healer, the place where we have felt harmed and we know it well. We know it so personally. You know, it's a deep one. But it also becomes the position where we see Chiron as our greatest teacher, because by giving of that wound, sharing of that wound, addressing of that wound that has been put under this huge amount of spotlight at a full moon, when we give that away, when we talk about it, when we help another person, we're actually able to turn this into some healing. Now, Chiron in the energy of Aries is like the wound to the identity, the wound to what I call myself, the wound to my own warrior, right? My own sacred soldier, the wound to my own fight. And under this T-square, this moon is pulling you in these opposing directions, and the energy is coming out at the apex, which is this Chiron energy, which is giving me this idea that it is important at this moon to connect, to reconnect, to go to the wound, to go to the identity you would like to carry, that you would like to be known as, to go into your own fight. These two informing that T-square, that sun and that moon are squaring Chiron. So they're asking, Chiron is saying, we need to take an action here.
We need to make a movement. We need to make a decision. We have to actually put boots to the ground in this compromised idea, right? We come to the compromise of that sun and that moon of how we can move this forward and actually live this identity that lights up the spirit within each of us, that lets us remember that we have power and passion and purpose in our fingertips, in our hearts, in our words, and in our movement, right? Now, like I said, the sun here is also in this loose for me conjunction with Mercury, but they're both in the energy of Capricorn. So when I think about Capricorn, especially opposing this moon, that idea of not only authority, but accountability, right? And Capricorn, I have a Capricorn South node. And so, Capricorn says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Let's get it together. We do this because we've got to get some things done. We've got to make it work, be responsible for your own destiny and for what you're going to achieve. We need to be responsible here. So from a motivated sun position to connecting with that Mercury, coming over here, opposing this moon, and then coming through this Chiron energy, this is the courage to change the things I can, a part of that serenity energy. Where can you, and where is this moon lighting up for you? The understanding that you've got to accept the responsibility of being courageous enough to go out and change what you can. But I also want to point out that Capricorn is ruled by the energy of Saturn. Okay, Saturn is right now in the energy of Aquarius with Jupiter here as well. But also, Saturn rules Aquarius as well. So it's very comfortable in both of these energies. So a portion of this moon, I think, points us to the honest understanding that we have to have the responsibility, the accountability to move ourselves forward, but we have to do that in a way that is very connected to others, to our groupings, to our communities, to this idea that the success of our futures rely in us kind of grabbing our lives and our emotions, because this is a moon event, by those bull horns and starting to walk that thing forward, but getting aligned with the groupings, getting aligned with the tribes, getting aligned with the digital information that we need to be supported. Remember, Capricorn is the energy of the muscular system, right? Like our muscles, our bones, right? So what are your bones that you're standing on? What is the support? What are the ribs? What is your support structure that you've got around you to help yourself have the courage to change the things that you can, to accept those things that you can't change, and the wisdom that comes from maybe being connected and supported in the right way from home, Cancer energy up, that allows you to make these changes. Now, one other thing that I just want to say about this Capricorn energy before we go on with the rest of this exploration is that because this energy is coming through that Chiron in Aries as well, I think of Cancer being our early lives and at home, and that mothering kind of energy, that feminine energy, right? And Capricorn being this out in public, out in the world, our society, and more masculine deemed energy, right? We associate it that way in traditional astrology. But one of the things I think of with that Chiron tie-in is how much of where you've come from January until now did you spend time this year unrooting from your childhood to your adulthood. And that falls right in line, I think, with the vision that I have of, yeah, at this point, we've had life, you've had situations, you've had a 2020, you had a 2012. And at what point now is this where you grab it and you accept responsibility that if you've been hurt, if you've been harmed, if you have hurt, if you have done harm, that you grab your story and become responsible for the healing of it. And that the only way that maybe you reshape and reform this new identity that is going to be a part of your legacy and creating your future and the bones of who you will be next will come through sharing your story with another, by accepting and getting the help one-on-one, very individually, Aries energy, for healing your own identity. I think that is an absolutely beautiful thing to consider. Now let's talk about this gorgeous set of aspects we've got with the sun and the moon and Uranian energy, okay? So we've got the moon here in sextile to Uranus, who is retrograde in the energy of Taurus, and it's a sextile. So in a sextile, we know that these are compatible elements with each other. So we've got an earth and water happening here. And when the planets have sex, that's good for us, right? Because not only does it provide a pocket of opportunity for us to do something, right? But we intelligently take action on this particular opportunity. Now, we also see that that Uranian energy is trine, which means they're in the same element as the sun down here in Capricorn. Now, that provides an ease to this energy that's going on. And Uranus is bringing his own funky flair to the table. He's like, change, stimulation, do it different. I want to bring something a little bit different to the table here, right? I want to show you a different way. And it's not new. Uranus is retrograde. You've been steeping in the idea, you've been shown that something about your resources, something about your Taurus energies or the Taurus areas of your chart, you can't do it that way anymore. There has to be a breaking free, something exciting, a change that is available to you under this Uranian aspect. Now, Uranus being in sextile to that moon, this brings the stimulation to our emotional life, and you're motivated from the inside out to take some physical in this material plane action, Taurus, to make these changes. And maybe what are you going to change? Change things around your domestic or home life routine. Maybe you change something in your personal or emotional life that allows you freedom. Uranus wants freedom more than it wants anything else. Or you take an action that allows you the innovation that you need here. And it's an intuitive movement, right? Intuitively, I need to share this. I need to be guided in this. I need to take this action in order to be free. Now, Uranus is also sometimes very quick moving, right? He's very quick moving. He's very spontaneous. Something blows in. So this could also be a time where I would tell you, trust that intuition. Where do you need to make that quick decision to do something different or to make a change? This is a great time to follow that intuition. Now, I'm seeing too here. So for somebody out there, please let me know if this is you. This is a childhood friend, a childhood friendship group or something. This is quite positive, but it's like a childhood friendship group comes back to the table. This is around something of friendship for you that allows you to regroup back in. But you're coming at it with different eyes. Your intuition and your instinct around it is completely different. But this is a healing. This is a positivity. And I think that this connection actually helps you to reroute over this next 4 weeks. So even back up to January, what was that? What happened or disconnected maybe in a friendship group for you? And now you're feeling like it's definitely coming back online, which it's funny to say online because maybe that's what happened is you got disconnected as things started moving towards pandemic things, and now you're getting plugged back in. Wow, that's lovely. Now, the sun being in trine to this Uranian energy, this immediately gives me this idea of changing and breaking bad habits or past habits or patterns that you have seen at this point in the year are simply not serving you. They are not serving you at an emotional level. They are not serving you at a building level. You can't continue to move forward with them. And this could very specifically, because these are earth energies, be this Uranian energy pointing to you saying, hey, I'm bringing you a positive and exciting opportunity to change how we do our resources materially. Now, with that sextile over here to the moon, your intuition is peaked. It is sparked. It's like flashes of genius and intuition are on your table on how to take these actions over here at this particular sun movement. Because remember, that sun is motivated, and now it's motivated to welcome in this change, to try something new, because what you are doing is reforming this identity. You are saying my new action as this person at the end of 2020, at this Cancer moon, here's who I am, here's who I'm prepared to show up as, here are the things that I accept, here's where I'm going to take the courage to make some changes, and here is where I'm going to let the groupings help and guide me or support me to sort out so I can see the wisdom of what is needing to be accepted or what is needing to be changed. This is an energy with Uranus on the table that we are outside of the comfort zone. You're going to get outside of the zone of where I think you've seen yourself build, move, and work for quite some time. Now, Uranus here, I don't bring it up a lot because it's not my specialty, but I do feel like it's important this time. Uranus is here just 6 degrees away from Lilith, okay? Now, a Uranus-Lilith conjunction in the first place, it amplifies the need for freedom. It amplifies this energy that's like, you're not going to tell me what to do, right? Like radical self-care, radical independence is something that comes from this energy as well. So Lilith will feed this sun moon dynamic as well. And I also think that Lilith, if you know the story of Lilith in general, Lilith was not about to be told that she had to do it a certain way. And I think that this is a spark that comes to our table as well. You're challenging that authority, whether it have been from the government, from your parents, from your upbringing, or from limiting ideas that you've had of yourself, where you're like, I'm not going to just do it this way because you say, or I say, this is the limits of what I have to offer and to bring to the table. It is an energy that can be, next to Uranus, so electric and so drastic in terms of I'm not just going to have any old thing, that it can actually push you and be that push you need to get to this new grouping of people, to get to that support structure, your ribs, right? Because maybe the new groupings, maybe the new ideas forward, maybe the new actions you need to take require you to be surrounded by groupings of people who can support these ideas that are way outside of your normal network. But these energies, these realignment, this push of Lilith saying, no, I'm not just having any old thing, I'm going to have it my way, is something that I think is sparked in that courage to change for sure. Now, if we look at the fact that we've also got Uranus here challenging this Saturn. So we've got Uranus and Saturn, Uranus being the ruling energy of Aquarius, right? So one of those. So it's very much so like rulership is on deck right here, but this is a squaring energy that's happening here. So as Uranus squares Saturn here, one of the things I think of is that, again, this is this demand for energy, for action, for movement, to make a decision. I'm uncomfortable in this. I'm uncomfortable with these groupings. I'm uncomfortable with this new technology. I'm uncomfortable with the new social dynamics. But Uranus and Taurus is saying, look, we've seen what we were doing before and it wasn't working. So all of this has sparked that courage to change, courage to see it differently, be taught something else, understand that my spirit from that home, what I call home, how I'm going to make home, how I'm going to create and work from home, has to be drastically, dynamically different, and I get to welcome it. But it needs some structure put around it as well. I need to take some actions that are going to bring a solid foundation, bring my ribs in, right? Now, the other thing that I thought was important to not leave off of the table at this particular moon is that we've got this big, beautiful grand cross. I mean, when we get an aspect pattern, I think it's important for us to take a look at it, especially one that touches such big energies in the chart. Now, this grand cross or grand square, some people like to call it, is an aspect that is happening in mutable energies. Now, a mutable grand cross is the signal that it's like herding mosquitoes, right? Like we've got these ideas, they're brilliant, they're going to ebb and they're going to flow and they're going to be able to go from one thing to the next and be very adaptable, which is what we need in all of this air energy of Aquarius. But the other thing that it tells me is that it's like the tacos are not all in a row. We have got to get things together. The ideas are too spread out. So it's almost as if we're having a hard time moving having this new identity, having the courage to change because we're unsure exactly how to organize that thing, how to bring it all together. And so what it can create under a grand cross is worry, is anxiety, is this feeling of, oh my God, it's all too much. Like, what do I do with all of these decisions? What do I do with all of these ideas? So staying centered in a grand cross, the thing you want to know that it's asking you to do is to stay flexible and adaptable, but allow these groupings, allow that Saturnian energy to pull you in, to bring the ribs, bring the structure. Okay, bring the structure in here. And a part of this grand cross, we have our nodes. So we know that a piece of this is truly that Gemini North node pulling us to new information, new communication, ideas, learning, teaching, and beginning in this South energy that is conjunct down here with Venus, to let go of the need to know everything, to have to be right, to have to be the keeper of all of the information. It's like outgrowing old ideas and beliefs and faith that is not applicable for you anymore here. The courage to change means courage to change, the courage to put the ego down, to put down the one belief that has carried you for 30, 40, 20 years and say, maybe there's something else. And if I'm going to reform this identity and I'm going to reform and restructure home, whatever home looks like, whether it be physical or internal, I have to be willing to detach at the South Node energy, right? Now, Venus there with the South Node typically makes it very comfortable and very easy to stay in this old thinking mentality or these old belief mentalities. So one of the things I think I would just caution you to under that energy is the comfort and the ease of wanting to stay where you are. But I do think that the rest of this chart stimulates you enough to say, I'm willing to go be responsible and accountable and take my courage to change on the road and to allow these new experiences to come to the table. It's absolutely, I think, a beautiful, miraculous moon and a beautiful, miraculous time for us to look from January until now, what this moon has brought to us, a fierce courageousness, a fierce willingness to lead in our own lives and form this new identity. What is your 2021 identity that this moon is going to allow you to come forward with? Where do your feet feel grounded in terms of home? Where does home feel like for you on this planet? Have you looked at your astrocartography? Are you feeling called towards a particular region or a particular person in your life? You know, are you making transition with your family or your parents? Are you in transition in your family? I know one of the experiences I had this year is that even in COVID times, Christmas this year, my husband and I are 38 years old. We are right in the middle. So it is our turn to take on traditions. And how do we want to do that? What are the traditions we're going to carry forward? And what else do we want to add? But whatever it is, we're all called to the responsibility and the accountability of stepping up and allowing this reimagination, redefinition, realignment of this new identity to come from us, to be stimulated from a place that comes from the inside out so that we can create a new home with beautiful ribs and structures, new ideas, new support groups and ideas to support us as we move forward. So I hope that this resonates with you. I'm feeling the gratitude around having a moon in a sign that we started the year with and we get to end the year with. I just feel like that beams such a beautiful light of progress for each of us to consider and to consider what it's going to look like and how it's going to manifest for us. So put in the comment section down below if this resonates with you. Please let me know what changes that you're experiencing and where you're feeling like your courage to change the things that you can is really coming online for you. And even where are you struggling? Where are you feeling like you've got a little bit of hold up that you're not exactly sure how to pull it all together and come to the other side so that you can accept, be courageous, and have wisdom. All right, my beautiful friends, I hope that you will like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I absolutely am so excited that I think a little bit later today, I'll be launching the Kickstart campaign and project that I hope is my courage to change, is my full moon revelation in our community to do something really different, really big, and really beautiful for us. So I hope that I can count on your support to be able to do that, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.